Hello. Yes. Welcome. Welcome. But anyhow, right? Anyhow, so I wanted to talk more about hype versus buzz, because really ultimately this is what a lot of the debate is. I'm just using these particular terms. But I also wanted, in another video, I'm gonna go into well, a similar thing, but please forgive me. I have to give me just 1 second here. But I also want to do, like, I guess maybe some, I don't know if it would be called house cleaning, but yeah. So but this particular video is kind of, just gonna go into story time. Well, everything, it's all story time. But so anyhow, yeah, and welcome to my new subscriber. I'm keeping a low profile and kind of flying low under the radar, so to speak, because there's been a lot of drama that I just don't, it's just not worth my time. And so, and hopefully that'll all fizzle out one day and whatever, but I got nothing to lose. I've been talking about, how it's all the same: BitChute, YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, and some of the funny things, like there's these advantages to YouTube that are super funny. Like, there's advantages to YouTube that cut out like a big chunk of stupid drama that I would otherwise be dealing with, just because of the nature of YouTube, like being censorious and all this shit. It's really funny. So far, YouTube hasn't. I mean, they've shadow banned the fuck out of me, which I could care less. I was shadow banned all over on BitChute anyway, so it's no different. But anyways, I'm talking about buzz versus hype. Now, these are terms that, that I came to understand because I spent many years playing in bands in the underworld, in the underground scene, which is better than mainstream. The underground music scene is far superior to mainstream media, mainstream fucking music scene. Mainstream. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's good mainstream shit. Go to an Iron Maiden fucking show and you're gonna see fucking, you're gonna see seas of people showing up there. And Iron Maiden has never been known to be a sellout. Iron Maiden has always been, generally speaking, true. They've always been the same band. They never did really change with the times. They're always remained authentic and true to who they are and what they do. Iron Maiden has always been Iron Maiden. Even though they're older now and all that shit. So when you see like them playing a live show with a big mass audience, they earned that fucking audience. That's not hype. That's buzz. That's those motherfuckers have been buzzing around for fucking decades, and they got fucking hardcore true fans. It's not hype at all. You might have fake Iron Maiden fans in there, of course, but the numbers, and there's a lot of phenomena like that. Like, you can find all kinds of real phenomena like that. Even the Grateful Dead, whatever your thoughts are on the Grateful Dead, them deadheads, they're true fucking heads, man. There's a lot of fake ones in there, of course, yeah, but you got hardcore motherfuckers, and there's a reason. There's a reason. I've talked about how I got lucky and caught the tail end of the Grateful Dead before Jerry Garcia died. There is real magic that goes on at Grateful Dead shows. It'll fucking right before your very fucking eyes, you know. Real shit, you know. But anyways, so having a music background and an understanding of music and even music theory and knowing how to play guitar and all these years of that, it's an interesting kind of different perspective than other people. You know, musicians and artists and stuff can have a kind of insight that people who are more into, you know, logic and pragmatism and shit like this don't really see. That's why it's important to get differing perspectives and views on stuff, because someone who's an artist and a musician and shit, they have a keen sense of like they're looking for certain specific things that someone who's a, you know, pragmatist isn't even going to be paying any attention to, and sometimes those details matter, you know, that shit matters. And so I played in, you know, bands and stuff, and I played bass since I was 15, and I kind of accidentally discovered that I have an idiot savant kind of talent with music that I didn't really know I had until I got my first bass guitar and shit, like blah blah blah. But whatever. So talking about buzz versus hype, because really this is what we're talking about. Like the truther, you know, seeking truth and all this shit, and like looking for stuff that's real because everything is so fake all the time. Like, you know, well, that's what differentiating hype from buzz is in the world of music and shit, is discerning like what's real art from what's just what is just like fake posers, you know. You know what I mean? And I can go into all different kinds of stories to really kind of, you know, a person who may not be familiar with these terms, hype versus buzz. I mean, this is all about, you know, you know, being able to discern a fake truther from a real truther and shit and stuff like that. You know, hype. A fake truther, their whole thing is based in hype, and which is fake. A real truther is based in buzz, which is like just an organic fucking movement. It's organically generated because of something that the truther happens to be talking about that somehow is like, whoa, you know. So I had this one band I was in. It was actually one of the bands that I formed, and and we were playing shows and, you know, shit like this. And it's really crazy, like, oh shit, I got somebody calling me. Oh, okay. But it was really crazy because like in a band, see, I've always been against hype as far as music is concerned. I've always despised this poser shit, like all this posers and all these fake bands that everybody's like, oh my god, great, you know, Nickelback, oh, and all this. Like, you see all this same stuff in the music world, you know, as you do, you know, it's all the same fucking thing. Bunch of sellout bands, they're just fake posers, and it's despicable when you look at it, because if you love music and shit and you see all this going on, you're taking a side. You're like, I'm joining the side. I want to be in a band that has buzz, that pushes back against all this fake hype bullshit. And so that's what's beautiful about the underground music scene, is so much of it is built and based in that, like, anti fucking hype, like, fuck these sellout fucking bands. And it's beautiful because, like, you go into the underground music scene and you'll see crushing bands that would crush like 80% of all this mainstream so-called music. Like, it's fucking like just fucking mind-blowing shit compared to what the mainstream is telling you is what good music is. It's fucking insane. It's a whole other universe, man. And so I would play in bands where we were like totally anti-hype. We would intentionally write songs about fucking, eating shit or whatever, just anything to push against all this fake fucking politically correct hype fucking fuck you. We would make sure that our songs were not at all radio friendly. Is like anti fucking music industry, But then you got tons of fake anti music industry bands that are fake. They're just trying to jump on to. They don't understand the difference between hype and buzz, and they're trying to hype up their shit, and it always sucks. Their bands always suck and everything. So I'd already been in a number of fucking crushing bands, like just badass motherfuckers, right? And so then at one point I started my own band, and I wrote all the songs and stuff, and got a couple people, and we played shows, and despite what you might think, it's really not that hard to outshine, mainstream bands. It's not that hard at all. That's part of the whole joke of it, where it's like, oh my gosh, like you see tons of bands that can easily outshine, the standard mainstream music. And then, and it's just like, wow. And, it's not that hard to outshine 80% of mainstream music, in the music industry. It's very easy. Just as it is easy to outshine, all these trending popular channels. It's super easy. I actually want to, in my next video, I want to talk about, because it's also infuriating, because you see all these fucking sellout channels that are just getting all these accolades of praise and stuff, and you're like, fuck this, man. This is fucking lame. And so one of the bands that I started, we would play shows and stuff, and over time of playing shows and stuff, you start to realize, like, it catches a buzz. I'll give you an example. So when I wrote all these songs, and I recorded the songs, and I recorded everything by myself on my own with just the shitty equipment that I have. I don't have no fancy equipment. I didn't even have any software to mix tracks and stuff. I use Windows Movie Maker to mix the tracks. I use just some shitty handheld recorder to record. I didn't have all this fancy stuff, and I recorded every track and mixed it and wrote every part, including the drum parts, the bass, the guitar. I played every part on the drums, guitar, bass. I played each part was played all the way through. I didn't stop and then have to, no, I played every part all the way through from the beginning of the song to the end. I played the bass part all the way through from beginning to end, guitar part all the way through from beginning to end, drums all the way through from beginning to end, vocals all the way through from beginning to end. Got each 4 of those tracks, put them in the Movie Maker, mixed them up so they all lined up, and then I recorded like 7-song demo. It was just a demo, and then Bandcamp is really the only viable way to publish music online is Bandcamp. If you don't know what Bandcamp is, it's kind of like Facebook for musicians. It's all Bandcamp is, And so I posted all them tracks on Bandcamp, and the reason I posted them is so that I could find musicians, because that's all I was interested in. Is I want to get a bass player and a drummer. And how is anybody gonna listen to my music if I don't have it posted on Bandcamp so that they can access it? So that's the only reason I posted my shit to Bandcamp, is because so then I could take the Bandcamp link and go onto the Facebook pages where all the musicians chat and talk, and say, hey, I'm looking for a bass player and a drummer, and here's the songs. And if anybody likes the songs, hit me up, and we can, anybody's interested, here it is. And so other people on the Facebook page because it would be a musicians band Facebook page where it's a community for musicians to talk to each other. And so people would go to that musician Facebook page, community Facebook page, and they'd see my little post where I'm like, hey, I'm looking for a bass player and a drummer, and here's my project. And so then if it was a bass player or drummer, they could click on it and listen to the thing to see if it might be something they'd be interested in. Okay, so that's all I did. I put it on Bandcamp. Well, then, I'm not really paying attention because I don't care. I'm just using it just to, advertise for a bass player and a drummer. That's it. I didn't have any expectation of anything else. Well, and I don't check my email very often, so I'm just like, whatever, right? And then one day, a couple weeks go by or something like that, and I just like check my email, just see what's going on. And I'm getting all these emails, right, from Bandcamp. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is going on, right? And so the thing is with Bandcamp, you can sell your music, but it was just a demo. So I didn't have any intention of selling it. It's a demo. Why would I put a price on it so people could buy the tracks? It's only a demo. Like, who would buy these tracks, right? So I'm getting all these emails on my Facebook page from Bandcamp. So I'm like, what is this shit? So I like open up an email and it's like somebody paid $7 for my tracks. I'm like, what? Weird. That's weird. And then I'm looking at my emails and I'm getting several emails from Bandcamp. So I like open another one. There it is again, $7 for somebody else paid $7 for. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go back to Bandcamp page and I'm looking because I'm like, I'm totally confused. I can't understand. It's a fucking shitty demo, like, right? And so I'm like looking through the Bandcamp page and I realize it says $7, but I didn't set it at $7. So when you set up a Bandcamp page, it has the option for you to price the music, but I wasn't selling it. So I never priced it. I didn't put nothing. I just left it alone and didn't touch that. Well, the thing is if you post music to Bandcamp and you don't set a price, it defaults to $7. And so I'm like getting all these people paying $7 for my fucking shitty demo, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy, right? Isn't that crazy? And then it just keeps snowballing where it's like then somebody's emailing me because they did a review of my album and they're like letting me know they reviewed it. And so I'm like, well, what the fuck? So I'm clicking on the link and it's these fucking people running these pages, online pages where they review albums and they're reviewing my album and they're just like talking it up like this fucking album is sick as fuck, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's what I mean by buzz. See, I didn't even intend on selling it or nothing. The only reason I posted it was so that I can find a bass player and a drummer that might be down to do the project with me. I had no interest in it getting reviewed by people. Bandcamp itself did a review of it. Bandcamp. Like, they don't just review people. That would be like if Facebook reviewed a Facebook page and said, hey, check out this Facebook page. Like, it was like, what the fuck? And they fucking did an amazing fucking review of this demo. I mean, they were like telling me they were gonna put it in, it's like, and they're a record label. Bandcamp has a record label called Ripple Effect, and so Ripple Effect did a review on Bandcamp of this thing, and I had like all kinds of people doing reviews. A fucking internet radio station that plays 24/7 doom music did a fucking amazing review of my album and put it in their fucking on their radio station as one of the music that they play in their big roster of songs that it plays 24/7, and that's buzz. That is buzz. I wasn't even trying to do nothing except for find a bass player and a drummer. I wasn't trying to shop it around for it to get reviews and sell it, and you know, and all this shit. It just happened. That's buzz. That's buzz. And then we're playing shows. This is another interesting, like, we play shows with bands, right? And we play a show with like a cookie cutter, you know, hyped up cookie cutter band, right? And you could totally tell that the audience was AstroTurfed audience, because it would just be a bunch of hipsters, and they're all just hipsters. And then the band is a fake cookie cutter hipster band. Well, because hipster is the trendy thing. So you could tell it's all just fake. And then my band would play, and you would have all kinds of different people. I mean, like, yuppies were showing up to my band. My band was like Black Sabbath, old school metal. And so you don't typically have like yuppies showing up and shit like that at that. And see, because the reason that my audience was like a whole mixture of all different kinds of people, you know, just like random people. It wasn't a bunch of fucking hipsters that all dress and look the same, all showing up to watch this hipster band. I'm not a hipster band. That's an old school fucking, you know, proto metal band. And fucking, you'd have all kinds of different people showing up, and it's like, what the fuck? You know, and I even talked to a couple of them because I was just curious, like, you know, what bands did you come to see? And they're like, well, I came to see, you know, this band. I'm like, well, that's my band. And they're like, yeah, dude, that shit's crazy. You know, and then they start talking about, like, they found it online, and it was just a trippy band. They thought it would be cool to come see. See, that's buzz. That's just a mixed bag of different people that had discovered it and just wanted to come check it out because it was. People don't do that. That only hype never generates that kind of attraction at all. Hype never attracts that kind of attraction where you get a mixed bag of different kinds of people that show up to watch your. No, that hype only has a target audience. It's like, I'm a hipster band. All you hipsters, come see my hipster band. And then it's all hipsters. They're like, okay, I'm following my hipster marching orders, you know. And so that's the difference between hype and buzz. And so when I'm talking about the phenomena of hype versus buzz can be applied across the board to any and all this shit going on BitChute and all this stuff. And you see all this hype on BitChute. It's all hype. And even YouTube and all these other platforms. But there's a noticeable difference between hype and buzz. And then, like, even in politics, when you look at politics, like my video where I'm talking about Trump compared to your typical, you know, career politician never go outside of their script. They never go off script. Trump, that's all he is off script. The whole time he's off script. He's all over the place. He's talking about career politicians are always scripted. They never go off script. And that's different. What Trump is doing is curious. It draws an organic, like, where people are just drawn to it. Not because they worship Trump or they're Trump tards and all that. No, it's because everybody's sick of fucking scripted politicians, and that's all you ever see. I'll end with this kind of weird story. So a buddy of mine went and saw Stained, right? And I was laughing at him. I was like, dude, okay, I forgive you, but I'm not into any of those bands you went and saw. And he kind of gave me a funny look, and I was just laughing. I'm like, whatever, dude. No, it's cool. And so he's telling me the story. He was at the Stained show. And so Stained comes on stage, and they're like, well, what'd you think about Breaking Benjamin or whatever? And everybody's like, yeah. You know, what'd you think about this band? You know, because these are all the bands that played before Stained. And they're all just cheeseball bands, whatever. Everybody's like, yeah, all right. And then the guy from Stained's like, well, what do you guys think about Trump? And they all, yeah, and all of a sudden everybody like explodes. That's buzz, dude. That is not hype. That is not all a bunch of sheeple. Because they would have responded similar to the way they did when he's like, well, what do you think about Breaking Bad? And everybody's like, oh, Breaking Bad. You know, and he's like, well, what do you think about Trump? And everybody's like, yeah, like all of a sudden everybody's tripping. That is buzz. So whatever you think about Trump and politics, all that, you can't deny buzz. You can't say that buzz is hype. You can try, but there is just a difference. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in the world of hype. It just never does. There is a discerning difference from those two things. And then, so then I automatically, when I found that out, I'm like, I have so much more respect for Stained now, because Stained, that crappy band Stained, they're like Trump or shit. They're like, yeah, all right, Trump. I'm like, that is hilarious, bro. So anyways, that's just funny bullshit.